Wonder Twins issue 6, written by Mark Russell, art by Stephen Byrne. Do tell, do tell.
Yeah, so
Oh, Pete, what an issue you
right
missed.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Matt.
Yeah, this really picks right up with the scrambling about to take place. If you recall, the scramble was going to take everybody. His threat was, you got 30 days to change the world, or I'm gonna mix up everybody into a different body, and tough shit, deal with it. And for most of the issue, it's like, hey, governments are actually fixing things. They're actually putting things in place for when this happens, because they know no matter what they do, it still won't be enough, because they've only got 30 days, but they are making an effort.
Yeah, and so the Justice League's looking for a Scrambler, but he's not in the normal places because he's with Polymath, and that's, not a known place. So they're at their wits' end, which the Wonder Twins, Zan goes to visit one of the League of Annoyance members, the Praying Mantis guy, basically just to be like, hey, if you could help us, we might be able to cut you a deal and whatnot. And he's been reading a version of The Secret where he, put out positive thoughts, and, positivity will follow, we'll find you. Yeah. And so he's thinking this is all what this is, but really Jane has turned into a fly and is kind of eavesdropping on the members that are in that jail. And they still really can't find it because Scrambler really covered his trail pretty well. And we get to see the president here, who is like, well, I can't end up in the body of a slave around the world, so we have to strengthen these slavery laws and whatnot. So it's everything comes from this place of self-interest.
But it is kind of working.
Yeah, it is working. And even the Justice League are kind of like, we can't have people, regular people jump into us, so we have to stop this too, because who knows what someone's going to do with our power set, and or our what's the word I'm looking for? Not facilities, but like, oh man, not utilities. Anyways, they can't use what they have because they can't be trusted. But we get some stuff with Polly talking to Scrambler about how this is just how unfair the world is. Look how everybody's scrambling with the chance of having to live like somebody else and actually feel empathy. That's what's driving this change. And you know what? Like, maybe this is an underhanded way to do it, but our intentions are noble here.
Yeah, and Jaina kind of she overhears, as a fly, she overhears one of them saying, "Oh, the Scrambler wanted Philo's help with something." So she's like, "Oh shit, Polly, I'll go over." And she actually comes to the conclusion that maybe it's what they're doing is right. Maybe because governments are, enacting all these things and doing it, maybe if we leave it till the last minute, we can convince Polly and Scrambler that, hey, they changed enough. We don't actually have to go through with the threat. We can just, threaten them and it's worked, and, job's done. You just need to wait for them to sign all the laws. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite get there. They
nope.
They bust him before. Superman and Green Lantern, bust him before they sign all the laws. So everyone just goes, "Oh well, crisis averted.
We're done." Yep.
Yeah.
Which is our society in a nutshell now.
Yeah.
And so Superman and the Justice League bust in, and then Polly is super upset with Jaina because she's like, they don't see the world as we see the world, because she talks about her dad and whatnot, and how he was discriminated, and that the right mind might be where you're not looking. And I really like that was the message here, that because of the way the world's set up, we might be missing the greatest minds behind a wall somewhere because they can't get out.
Yeah. But there's a lot of really good stuff with everyone panicking and prepping for what they're going to do. Lex has set up a new kind of social media where it's one account that only family, a family shares an account, and they all have the same password. So if they get scrambled, they can all log on and tell each other where they all are now, like what body they're in, where they live, and they can kind of reunite. Yep. Lex himself is like, I'm not getting scrambled. He's blasting into orbit because it only affects Earth with the power that he's got.
And we get to see Zan use his what do you call it? Demolecularization that he learned about in camp. And that's basically how they find Polly and Scrambler is he thins himself out enough to be in the water everywhere, which is hilarious because when this first got brought up, I remembered this Wizard April Fool's article that they were going to do an Alex Ross Wonder Twin story called Shape of Water. And that was basically what was going to happen, that all the water dries up and that to bring it back, Zan was going to have to become water himself.
Mate.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's what he does. He basically goes, one molecule into each drop of water, and goes through all the pipes and spies on every house at the same time by doing that. Essentially,
and that's
it's clever.
It was pretty fun.
Before that, we
right.
got a touching scene with Zan dropping off his monkey because who knows who would be in his body the next day and would be able to look after it. So that they leave the monkey on the sidewalk with a balloon, and it's crying when he turns into water and drops into the sewer.
But
it goes and picks him back up after us.
Yeah, exactly. So now there's gonna be, we know this got pushed to 12 issues. So now there's gonna be a bit of a break in between.
We got
7.
the end. So the final page is the Scrambler being taken into prison. It's hey, you get your one phone call and then you're mine, and he's like, oh, can I have an email instead? And then to be continued in September. Hey, if this break is what it means that Byrne's doing all the issues, I'm okay with that because. I would hate to change now. That would be horrible.
Yep.
Yes.
But this was a good issue. This was a great issue. It's kind of continuing on the plot that we'd established. Still funny. Still got all the messaging. But this is the conclusion as well. So, at least to this story. So as much as it's continued to 12 issues, it's very much 2 6-issue arcs. Still, they didn't just pad this out anymore. They were like, oh hey, well, what would have been season 2 is just the next 6 issues.
Yeah. So rate it, Connor.
Give it an 8.
Yeah, me too.